G'day and welcome to another crochet tutorial. In today's video we are going to learn how to crochet this cupcake bag. It is so cute. There will be a free written pattern located on my website. I will put a link for you in the description box below. So let's get started on the lesson. For our supplies, we are going to need a pair of scissors, a yarn needle with a large eye. We're going to need 2 crochet hooks. I have a 3.5 because that's very easy to get through the holes in the bag base, and also a 4.5 for the yarn. I use a 4.5 because I have loose tension. If you want to use a 5mm, then that's perfectly fine. We are only going to need the small crochet hook for the base of our bag. This bag base I got from Amazon, and I will leave a link for you below. If you use that link, it is an affiliate link, and what that does is makes me a couple of cents, and I use that to keep my videos and written patterns free. This one is 15 centimeters across or 6 inches. The yarn I've chosen today is from Yarnspirations. It is a Clare Cakes. It is a 200 gram or a 7.1 ounce. It recommends a 5mm crochet hook and is a number 4 medium weight yarn. If you're Australian, that is a 10 ply, and if you're in the UK, that is an Aran weight yarn. It is 350 meters or 383 yards. I chose this one because I've never used Clare Cakes, and so I've chose this one. I bought this at my local Spotlight store, and I'm sure you can get them do you get them at Walmart, or do you get them at Hobby Lobby, Michael's, Joann's? Can you get these in the UK? I don't even know. You are also going to need 8 stitch markers. If you don't have 8 stitch markers, just use 8 pieces of scrap yarn. So I'm going to pull from the middle because it is a yarn cake, and that's how I like to do mine. Grabbing our base, and we're going to grab our smaller crochet hook. Like I said, this is a 3.5mm crochet hook, and I've chose the smaller. You could go smaller again if you want to, but I find that this goes through my holes on my yarn bag base very easily, so you can start anywhere you like. So you can see my bag base has little feet on it. What we're going to do is we're going to start crocheting with the bag bottom facing us. So for me, mine's got little feet, so I know that's the bottom of my bag. So we want that facing us, because if we don't, when we start to crochet, our crochet is going to be on the wrong side. It's going to be inside out. And you may notice this base is a different colour. That's because I am recording this again. We're going to put our crochet hook anywhere in there, and then we're going to grab our yarn at the back. We're going to pull through, and then we're going to just grab our yarn and pull through. This is much easier to do when you don't have a tutorial desk in the way. Trust me, I've done it. And then we're going to single crochet into that same hole. So into there. I'm just going to flip it over so it's easier for you to see. Grab our yarn, pull it through. Come on, there we go. And then I'm pulling it up to the height of the side of the base here, and I'm going to complete my single crochet. So go through with your crochet hook. I'm just going to flip it over, grab your yarn and pull it through. Again, you won't need to flip this over. And then pull it up and complete your single crochet. Into the next hole, in, grab it, pull it through and complete your single crochet. We're going to do this all the way around, so complete all the way around, and I'll meet you when we are ready to join. So I've come around and I haven't joined or anything yet, and what I'm going to do is swap out my crochet hook for my bigger crochet hook. Now we need to grab our 8 stitch markers. You may just have some scrap pieces of yarn, that's totally fine. It's going to do the same job. And what we're going to do is we're going to space them out evenly. Now this is the 3rd time that I've filmed the base of this cupcake, because the first time it was too much, the second time there wasn't enough, so hopefully this time works. If you're seeing this time, it means it worked. So what we're going to do is we're going to space them out evenly. You can count them, I'm not going to bother, but I'm going to put one at the top where we've just done our last stitch. So it's just marking our last stitch, and then I'm going to grab another one and I'm going to go directly down and mark the stitch down the bottom. And then I'm going to mark my right and left side. I'm not counting these, I'm not in the mood now. This is the third time I've done this. Not in the mood. So just make them as even as you can eyeball it, or you can count it. It's up to you. So we have 4 stitch markers so far. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then grab the other 4 and going to put them in between the other stitch markers. Again, I'm not going to count it because... Do you ever have projects that don't work out? Yeah. This is one of those. I'm determined to make this to work though. And then we've got this one. So we've got there, or there. That one looks better. There we go. So I have 8 stitch markers. Where's my first one? Here we go. So the blue one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Every time when we come around and we get to these marked stitches, we're going to put 2 stitches into these marked stitches. I'm going to be choosing, that's the wrong crochet hook. I am going to be choosing a half double crochet for the base of my cupcake. You may want to choose another stitch, and that's totally fine. So that is the last stitch. So I'm just going to leave that there. In this very first stitch, because we're not joining our rounds, what we want to do is a single crochet. If you're choosing another stitch, you still want to do a single crochet. I am doing half double crochets. And now I don't know where my marked stitch was. We'll guess and say it was there. So I need to do 2. So in the marked stitch, which was here, we're going to work 2 of our stitches. So you can see there's 2 there. Where's that stitch marker gone? We don't need to use that stitch marker anymore, so we can pop that aside. And now we're going to work around until we get to the next marked stitch. So I'm using the half double crochet. And I'm hoping that this will be just enough increases to stop it. It was kind of sucking it in at the sides because there wasn't enough stitches. So hopefully they'll just give it enough, just so it doesn't... It looked like I decreased, but I really hadn't decreased. So let's get rid of that one. Into that stitch we're going to work 2 stitches. Just putting my stitch marker aside, and we've got 2 there, so we're going to continue on, and we're going to repeat this all the way around. Every time we get to our stitch marker, we're going to work 2 stitches for our increase. It's a little awkward because of the way I'm sitting. There's not much room on the bench to move things around, so into this one we're going to work 2 stitches. Let me know if this nail polish is too shiny because it's very sparkly. And we are going to work this all the way around. Pause the video and I'll meet you when we are... Where are we? When we're up to our very last stitch marker there. So this is where we started here, and that's the last stitch marker. So continue around and I'll meet you when we're over here. I am up to my last stitch marker, so I'm just going to take that out. And into that stitch I am going to work 2 half double crochets. So our next stitch that's coming along here is the single crochet from the previous round, and all we do is we just crochet into it like normal. Grab one of your stitch markers and replace that. And every time you come to your stitch marker, as you work your way around, just move it up every time you crochet into that stitch. Replace it into the new stitch that you've made. And we're going to continue doing this until we have the height of our cupcake base. How many is that going to be? I don't know. I am winging this. That is why this is my third time filming it. Do you have a limit? Do you have a limit of how many times you'll redo something? I made it halfway through the base on the first one and about an inch or two of stitches on the second one. This is the second base, so I just frogged it. Do you have a limit on how many times you would redo it? If it wasn't my job, I probably would have thrown it in the corner and started a new project. So you can see there it's working its way up. This will form the side of our cupcake base. Pause the video and I'll see you when we are ready for the next step. I have done 10 rounds of crochet, and this yarn, because it changes colour, I can see that it's actually about to change colour here. I don't know if this is going to show up on the camera very well, but it's just about to change to a darker purple. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to crochet. This is where I should be stopping, but it really doesn't matter with this pattern. I'm going to crochet a little bit until I'm almost at the colour change, which is just there. So I'm just going to add a couple more stitches. And you can see you see that just here? It's about to change to the darker purple. And what we want to do is, so I just did a half double. I'm using half double crochet, so whatever stitch you're using, if you're using a single crochet you won't need to do this next bit, but I'm using a half double crochet, so I want to do a single crochet in the next stitch, and then I want to slip stitch in the next stitch. For the frilly bit of the icing, if you want to do your icing a different colour, then go for it. I'm just going to continue on with this ball of yarn because it's going to change colour. But if you want to make yours a completely different colour, then finish off here and then join your new colour into that same stitch. Then we are going to work a chain 3 and 2 double crochet into that same front loop, which is just there. Try not to pull up with your crochet hook and pull that loop out. Like, I like to just hold it so it doesn't pull up a big hole. So that counts as 3 stitches because our first chains there were our count as a first stitch, and then we've got 2 double crochets. So into the next stitch, into the front loop only. If you don't know what I mean, if you turn it towards you, there's 2 loops. The front one, which is this first one, and the back one, which is just there. You only want that front loop. So normally you'd go over under both loops. We only want that front one, and we're going to work 3 double crochets. Into the next stitch, into the front loop only. We're going to work 3 double crochets. And we're going to repeat this all the way around until we get back to the beginning of this frilly section. It won't go as frilly at the moment because we haven't done very much, but as we go around it'll get frillier and create the little frilly icing on the cupcake. Pause the video and I'll see you when we are ready to join. I have the frills finished. Oh my gosh, that looks so cute. So we're just about to join these, so let's get into that. So I'm back to the beginning, and this is my chain 3 from the start, and I'm going to go to the top of the chain 3 and join that in. Oof, why am I making this look so hard? Come on, come on, come on, there we go. No, split the yarn. What am I doing? I'm a highly trained professional. still cannot do a slip stitch. There we go. Now I'm actually going to cut this off. You don't have to if you don't want to. It's just in our next part we need to go down, if we look behind here it's easier, the back loops that we didn't crochet into, we need to crochet into those. So I'm actually going to cut that off. I just think that it's going to be easier. I know it creates another end, but we'll be okay. Grab that very first front loop. Now I'm going to be working into every back loop of the same round that we just did, and I'm going to be working a half double crochet. So going to go into that back loop. I want to crochet over this one though because that's one less to sew in. So I'm going to go to the next back loop, which is here. I'm going to crochet over that, and here is the next loop here. Once you know where they are, they kind of stick out. So and I'm just folding the frill down with my thumb just to get it out of the way. Makes life easier. You can see what you're doing. So here is my next loop. So there's one there, there's one there, there's one there. Just folded that under because I wasn't sure if the camera was trying to focus on the back of the crochet or if it was going to focus, oops, that's a single crochet, focus on what you actually need to see. I'm going to crochet around, and our stitch marker, if you need to use that, sorry I should have said that at the start, and it's going to go, see we've got our stitches we've just started, and there'll be a little bit there, so let's pop that in there. And that'll just remind us that when we've crocheted all the way around, that's where we've got to stop. So continue on working into the back loops of the crochet. Now for me, I can see them really easily because it's a different colour because the yarn changed colour. But I'm hoping you can see yours really easy as well. So pause the video and I'll meet you when we are ready to finish off this round. I'm back to my stitch marker, so I'm just going to take that out. And what we're going to do now is continue on, and we're not going to join, we're just going to crochet into that very first stitch. I'm going to do a single crochet into there so it makes less of a hole. I mean, it makes, once you've got this bag finished, you're not even going to notice that because, like, really it's like just a hole between, a gap between the stitches. So then we need to grab our stitch marker, pop that back in. And now we're just going to work in a spiral like we did for the base. And I think we're going to need about the same amount as we did on the bottom. And we're just going to crochet all the, this is getting bigger. How do I fit this in? We're going to crochet all the way around the bag, and we're just going to keep going in a spiral like we did for the base of our cupcake. Pause the video and I'll see you there. My bag is getting too big to fit in the screen, but I have done 8 rounds of crochet, and I think that's enough. I kind of just scrunch the top. I kind of pretended to scrunch the top, and then that looks terrible, but I looked at it and thought, yeah, that's enough. So that's the amount of rounds that I have done for my top of my bag. And then to finish this off, what we're going to do is, I've done a half double crochet, so my next stitch will be a single crochet and then slip stitch into the next stitch. Let's cut that yarn off and finish off, and then we're just going to sew in our ends. To make the strap for the bag, you're going to grab your bag. For some reason I've lost some footage on my video tutorial, so I'm going to redo it. So this is the bag strap, and I just need to show you how to attach it because I've already crocheted all that and I don't want to pull it undone. So we've got the top of our bag here. And then we're going to go to the frills that we just have just here. We're going to grab our yarn. And depending on how wide you want your bag strap to be, that's how many stitches we are going to work through. And you can see here, when we've worked the double crochet into that stitch, you can see there's like loops. Can you see that? There's loops there. So what we're going to do is we're going to crochet around those. So grab your yarn, just pop it over your hook and pull it through, and we're just going to secure that onto there. And then we're going to find the next stitch. I know this is a little hard to see, but my yarn is joined around there, and then that little post there, that is where our next stitch is going to be worked around. So we've joined our yarn in, and we're going to chain 3, or you can do an alternative double crochet. You could use any stitch for this strap. You could use single crochet, half double crochet, double crochet, treble crochet, whatever you choose, that's what you need to do. If you're going to do a single crochet, do 1 chain here. If you're going to do a half double crochet, do 2. If you're going to do a double crochet, do 3. If you're going to do a treble crochet, do 4. And then into that next, around that next stitch that's down in here, we're going to do a double crochet. So yarn over, go in, go around that post and make our double crochet. Let's have a look at my strap. I did 3 stitches. Okay, so I need to do 1 more double crochet, go back down in here. It's kind of left eyelets along here. You're just going around the post of one of those stitches. I just got to find it. There we go. Oops. Get back on there. So I've got 3 stitches. I want to chain 3, or you can do your alternative double crochet. We're going to turn our work around, and then we're going to work back across our strap. Let's just poke this down there. We're going to double crochet into the next stitch, and also double crochet into the top of the next stitch, which is the chain 3 from the previous row. So we're just going to pop our crochet hook in there, like I said, you can do as many stitches across that you want your strap wide. It's completely up to you, but I just chose 3. I thought that was enough. So then we're going to repeat that for the amount of rows that we want for our strap. So we're going to chain 3, turn our work. What is the weather like where you are? Right now it is 30 degrees outside, and that's Celsius, so that's probably about, I don't know, about 90 Fahrenheit. We're going to double crochet into that middle stitch and also into the last stitch, which again is the chain 3 or the alternative double crochet from the previous row. We're going to repeat this for as long as we want our strap, and I'll meet you when I finish mine. I'm not sure how long I'm going to do mine yet. Pause the video and I'll see you there. I have made my bag strap 38 inches long, and that is 49 rows altogether. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that my bag strap is not twisted, and I'm going to join it to the other side of the bag. So I'm just going to, I might just poke this top section into the bag to get it out the way. So you can see if we fold that, actually, if we fold it this way, we've got our handle attached there. And if we just pull it like that and fold it so that the handle is on the end, that will give us the other side. So you need to join it there. I'm just hanging on to that so I don't miss out where it should be. Just holding my handle up to make sure it's not twisted, which it is. So it needs to go that way. Okay, and I'm going to turn it so the ruffle is at the top there. I just rolled across the room because I have a concrete floor in my studio, and this yarn, this bit of yarn, got stuck in the wheels of my chair and I literally had to chop it out. Yeah. Anyways, moving on. What we're going to do is go around those posts again of the stitch, and we're going to make a slip stitch. What is happening? Oh, oh dear, I'm trying to pull the wrong bit through. Make a slip stitch, then go into the top of the next stitch, which is the double crochet. Find the next post that we can work around and do a slip stitch. Pull that all the way through. Go into that last stitch. Find the next stitch over here, which is here. And you could sew this on if you wanted to. But I am just slip stitching. What's happening? Why are you not working? Let's try that again. Come on. There we go. And now have that joined to our work. I'm just going to cut off some yarn. It's going to be about 4 to 5 inches, and then just finish that off. I've got my studio set up differently and I've just realised I'm getting a bit of shadow on here, so apologies for that. I'll need to fix it. Let me just fix it now. Literally just moving my light around and see if that makes a difference. So we're going to thread our yarn needle, and then I'm just going to hide my ends. This is a really odd shaped project and it's quite difficult to fit it into the I was going to say the computer screen, but the amount of space that the camera needs to film. It's actually quite frustrating. Now what we want to do is make the drawstring for the top of our cupcake bag. So I'm just going to move this aside. We've finished with that section. And I'm going to grab my yarn, which is here. Wait, that's not it. That has 2 ends. Oh, this is the bit that got stuck in my chair. So we won't be using that. I can't actually get it out of my chair. I tried to pull it out, but it just would not come out. So I'll say it's stuck in there and now permanently part of my chair. So what we're going to do is just make a slip knot and make a whole bunch of chains. Now, I have, again, no idea how many I'm going to make. This is a personal preference to what you want to do, depending on how long you want your little tie up. You could use ribbon if you've got ribbon. I mean, I've got plenty of ribbon. Silly amounts of it and all different thicknesses, but I think I will just keep this tutorial to the crochet side so that you don't need to buy too many supplies for your project. Keep making a chain until you think it's long enough. I have made my chain 40 inches long, and what we're going to do is we're going to finish it off. We're going to cut our yarn and then just pull that through. We can trim up the end or you could sew it in later. And then we're going to get our bag, and depending on where you want your drawstring to be on your bag is where you're going to thread it through. I'm going to thread it through in the second round of the top of the bag, so through here, and I'm just going to skip a couple of stitches and thread it through. I'll show you that just in a minute, but that's where I'm going to put mine. I just thought I'd show you a different angle because it's really hard when it's all squashed up in front of the camera. I have threaded my needle with just the yarn end on the chain, and I'm going to go to the front of the bag. Not that you can tell because at the minute it just looks like a whole heap of crochet in the screen. So I'm going to go in, then I'm going to skip 2 stitches and come out the other side. I'm coming out through the hole that the crochet creates next to each stitch. I'm not actually not threading it through a stitch. Then I'm going to skip 2 stitches, go next to that one, skip 2 stitches and come out the other side. And do that all the way around. Continue on and I'll meet you when we're around to the other side. Pause the video and I'll see you there. You can trim the ends off of your chain or you can sew them in, it's completely up to you. I am just going to trim them off. Can you hear those bird sounds? They're so cute. Got my window open. Okay, just make sure I'm just pulling my drawstring so it's even, holding both ends. Pulling on that just to make sure it's even in the bag. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. Oh my goodness, this is so cute. I just put a yarn ball in there so it would fluff it out a bit so we can see the bag. How cute is it? And you can hear the little feet tapping on the bottom. Please let me know what colour you have chosen to make yours. And until next time, happy crochet.